Hi, we're Sean and
Kim.
van der Merwe, and we've been married for 19 years now. We're in our 20th year, going strong.
Yep.
Although we say going strong, but in that period of strength, there's been some real trials, and there's always the first few years where you're trying to figure each other out, but the latter years have actually been some of the bigger trials, and it's when our marriage has been the strongest. But I guess, hasn't been a bed of roses the last 5 or 6 years necessarily. Mainly because she's had to put up with me. Because the last 5 going on 6 years, I've been struggling with clinical depression and anxiety disorder. And it's been one heck of a challenge. And it comes, I guess, from a base of years and years and years of not dealing with things in the correct manner. I was in full-time ministry. I was a pastor. I was in the worship team. In fact, I was the worship pastor at the time as well. So I did that and assistant pastor to the lead at the previous church I was at. And things started. I mean, I've been training for it since my 20s. I'm 44 at the moment. So early 20s started training to go into ministry. Did the seminary thing, did Bible school with various different teachers and stuff like that, and tried to really prep myself. But when I came into the actual ministry and stuff itself, I'm not sure whether it was the church itself or just the role. I had expected things to be a lot different to what they were, and started becoming quite dejected in what I was doing. But anyway, we carried through and things seemed to be picking up and seemed to be finding my place in ministry, and COVID hit us, and it hit the church very hard. Our church was an inner city church that, I mean, wasn't financially that stable, and so I lost my job. Fortunately, I had been doing some freelance work, and I changed my freelance work into full-time work. But what it did for me was it really derailed me, because now I had an identity crisis. And I'd invested myself thinking, this is who you are, this is what it's going to be like, this is how you're going to change the world or the people around you, at least the community you're in. This is how things are going to work. But it all disappeared. And I think at the time, looking back now, was because I had placed my identity too much in what I was doing rather than in who had created me. And I think that the Lord used the last 5 years to do a reset. And I think there was a lot of pride in me, having achieved so many things, done this, done that, led a successful ministry, seen wonders, signs, miracles, all of it happen in ministry.
It was, I mean, hard doesn't really describe it. Having to leave your husband at home, just broken, and not knowing what sort of state he was going to be in the minute you walk out the door is just not easy. At the time, I wasn't working from home like I am now. So I was leaving the house and going out to work in an office all day and just leaving him all by himself. And it shattered me every day. So I've never struggled with clinical depression. I went through a bit of a depressive state after my dad died. So I have an inkling of what that feeling is, but I have no idea what it's like to just wake up with absolute dread every day. So being someone who's just trying to understand as well as be there for your spouse it's hectic, and it takes a lot out of you. Just constantly trying to be strong for them and be strong for yourself and just carry everything. Um, it's a lot, and there were days that I didn't think either of us were going to make it through, but we did.
Become hopeless. I'd almost given up in life. To the point where the worst type of thoughts start running through your head. And not just once, but many times. And that's a very scary place to be. Because you learn about God and His mercy, and you know that, man, I love you, Lord. I don't understand what you're doing right now. I don't want to be here. I just want to be with you. But knowing that it would be so unfair to my wife and to my kids, who I love more than anything else, even more than my life. And so it was a matter of looking at this torture every day, going, well, I'll just have to endure this torture. Because I used to wake up with dread, man. I didn't know how to handle it. Like losing your hope. I think it's in the scriptures, if you're deprived of hope, you're deprived of everything. That's just it. Yeah, so I would wake up, pull myself out of bed, and then many mornings just burst into tears. And I find myself pacing up the house, just like crying, like sobbing from, like right inside here. Okay. Lord, where the heck are you, man? Sorry. No, isn't. Where are you? And I remember screaming at the ceiling a number of times, and even like pointing my hands out and just going, I just need to hear you. I need something. I just need something. I need to just, even if it's just to feel your spirit. Then there were times when I was really noisy, and then there were times where I would sit still and I would just cry and I just wait. But I think there was so much noise in my head, and it took me so many years just to learn that what I had to do was just shut up and start working through things properly. So I found help. No, she found me help.
I found help.
Go about, explain how you found me help.
So first of all, it was just, I was like, you need to go see a doctor. Like, you actually can't do this on your own. Medication is there for a reason. Like, why are you fighting it? And got him to go see our GP, who prescribed meds. And guys, don't be scared to take medication. If you need the help, get the help. Like, that's why it's there. And yeah, and then things are okay for a while on the meds, but also not like perfect. And then
I feel like a zombie.
made you feel like a zombie. So we went off the he went off the antidepressants and just stayed on the anxiety medication. But I knew that he needed more help than that. It needed to be deeper than that. And I insisted that he speak to someone. And eventually you got him to see the psychologist that he's seeing now. And it's been amazing. He's been absolutely incredible. So yeah, if you've got someone who needs the help and they won't find it themselves, find it for them. And insist that they actually just make use of other tools that are out there.
I thought I realized it was time to move on from the previous church that I was at, because it felt like there was no hope there. Well, for me anyway. I think there's plenty of hope for other people that are still there and they're enjoying the ministry. But for Kim and I spoke to Kim and we decided we'd leave. But I didn't want to go back to church. I guess you lose hope and it didn't help. It didn't help me. It didn't help my depression at all. I mean, so, maybe there's something faulty. I don't know. You become very judgmental. And so the Lord let me sleep late on Sundays for 6 months. And it was Kim who brought me back to church at a ladies' event here at Legacy last year, September.
So my cousin Tracy invited me to the ladies' meeting last year. And I was like, yeah, I'll come with. I'll see what it's all about. And I walked in here and I was just like blown away. Like, yeah, something else.
Mhm.
And I went home after that ladies' meeting and I was like, I was so excited by everything that I had heard and experienced. And I was like, babe, I just had the best night. Like, it was incredible. I'm like, I'm going back on Sunday. You can do what you want to do. Come with if you want to come with, or don't. I don't know. Because at that point, he was like really just despondent and negative about a lot of stuff. So I was like, you do you. I'm going back. And he decided to come with, and we've been here ever since.
Yeah, I haven't missed a Sunday since I started. Not one. I didn't come in here to be judged at all, not at all. I just came in and just sit and just go, okay, let me just sit in the seats. It'll be good to just sit in the seats for a while. And I came in and you guys were talking about ministering on Flip the Script. What a pertinent series for me doing what I was doing to come into and listen to that word. And honestly, I love the praise and worship here. I'm part of the praise and worship team now. I love the praise and worship here. But the word has changed me here. And I sit and I listen to every word and I hang on to every word because I feel the very first time I came in here, the Lord just said, sit down. And I'm going to start teaching you again from scratch. Pretend you don't know anything. And so that was transforming, having the word. I think it was Jason that was preaching the first day. And I thought, wow, man, this man can teach. He's got such a way with words, the way he expresses himself. And then hearing Sue minister as well shortly after that. And then just witnessing how sensitive to the Holy Spirit she is. And that's what's kept us here, is just the word, but also the people. People have been so open. I've got so many friends after joining here. And then having the privilege of being invited to join Life Group, that's been really transformative. Knowing and sharing, because in Life Group you get to share. Everybody gets to share their lives. And that's when you really start understanding I'm really not alone.
Yeah.
There's people here that are really praying for me. And they remind me that they're praying for me. They don't just say, I'm going to pray for you, and that's the last you hear of it. And then they do pray for you. And then you're sharing and you're going, man, they're going through something that I went through, and I can share into that situation, and they can share into mine. And that started the healing process. And it was after that that Kim said, well, maybe you should take this further. And that's when she found Rory for me as my counselor. And Rory has been massive in teaching me, giving me the tools. And I've seen this as like two fists, man. I've gone, here's what you can do in your own, here's what you can do in your own strength, but here's what God can bring as well. So there's the spiritual side to it, and there's the reconfiguring your brain. And so he taught me CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy. Which is basically changing all the pathways in your brain to start thinking differently. And the big things that he kept and he hammered me on is to keep a diary. And so you keep a diary. And every day I've got to write in that diary 3 things that I'm grateful for. And when you start opening up and start thinking in the midst of a day where you're feeling like, man, I don't want to be here, but I'm going to do my homework, and you start thinking, what can I be grateful for today?
There's always
And you
something.
start exercising gratitude and start finding those things in the day. All of a sudden your mood lifts. All of a sudden the clouds part, because that's what it feels like when you're depressed and you've got no help. It feels like it's cloudy. You can't think. And telling me you take a walk every day. So I take a walk every day to clear myself. I find things to be grateful for every day. And I take, and he goes, and list the negative things that you're experiencing every day. And I list them, and he says, and then use the cognitive behavioral therapy to find the positive, change them into positives. And it's really changed me because we love as human beings to dwell on the negative anyway. And when you're in a depressive state and you've got anxiety coursing through your veins at 1,000,000 miles an hour, it's very difficult. But on you and somebody to be accountable for, because every week I'm with him and he's holding you accountable. Take out your diary. Let's go through your diary. Let's find out and giving you these things to start working through. And once you're able to start compartmentalizing and putting things into perspective again, it's amazing how that stillness allows you to hear God's voice again. And understanding that my identity is tied into Him, that it's not tied into a platform, that it's not tied into a stage, that it's not tied into preaching, it's not tied into singing, it's not tied into playing the guitar, it's not tied into anything but just being me. And so I think in this journey over 5 years, 6 years, God allowed me to shatter so that He could build Sean with Him in between, filling the cracks. And so, the depressive state, I can tell you now, is gone. There's times that are hard. And yes, I'm still an anxious guy. And yes, I still have processing troubles. And so those things make things quite difficult. But for the majority, I could say the depressive state is lifted. And it tries to come and revisit itself. But I've now got the tools to fight it, the weapons. And I'm excited for the first time in nearly 6 years. I'm excited to be alive. Because there's a future. There's a future here at Legacy. There's a future at home. I've established some great friendships. The Lord has given us opportunity to change people's lives just by being us. Is it easy every day? No. I'm not gonna say that. It's one thing that they've told you is, say, Sean, you'll have to fight a lot of your life. And the anxiety is something that you will have to fight. But know that whenever it's there, it's trying to tell you something. So figure out what it's trying to tell you and deal with it. And so I might wobble for an hour at most sometimes. And then I'm on track again. And I'm trusting that eventually the wobbles will disappear completely. But in God's time.